Okay, I'm really excited because my first plugs from Raker Roberta's, ordered through Ball Seeds through our wholesale account. Our first plants have arrived, so I'm really excited to see these because I'll show you guys my Lizzies in just a second, Lizzianthus. These are all flowers. I've got perennials, the two different types of delphiniums, and then I've got Lizzianthus. So got the order here, and a couple things to note. They say to double check is the quantities were reduced on a couple of these, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. So I got the Rosita 2 Blue Flash. And there's now only 155 shipped out of 160. That's fine. And then the Rosita 2 Pink got reduced all the way down to 75 from 160, which is unfortunate. And then the Rosita 2 Sapphire is a full batch. So that's for these Lizzianthus. I haven't checked the delphinium slips yet, but we're about to find out. They had already reduced 3 other colors due to, some of them were germination issues, some of them they couldn't get, I guess, seed started. The way they go is that they start, when you order, the following, like 1 week or within the next Wednesday or something like that, they'll actually plant your seeds for you. So these are all custom started just for me, which is kind of crazy to me. But cool facility, great people to talk to. And so I'm really excited to see how these come out. The other thing to note is that on the back of your packing slip, there's instructions. And so these are kind of important to follow. One of the things that I had seen before was not to just pull the tray out, but to pull these little cardboard components out all at once. And that will help make it safer for these plants to come out. The other part was you may need to harden these off a little bit, or, you know, we've had a really cold night. I'm thinking maybe I'll put these in the garage for the night and then move them out to the hoop house, which has that 40% shade cloth, and get them accumulated for a day or so, and then maybe plant these Sunday, tentatively. The other item is that when you want to transplant, it says thoroughly soak with water or fertilizer solution about 15 minutes before the plugs will be transplanted. And then always push from the bottom. That's very, very normal. But enough about the instructions. Let's see what I've got. I'm going to use both hands, so I'm going to put the camera down. All right, so the first tray's out. These boxes are made to just open up, so you don't have to slide them out. It looks like one or two got a little dislodged here. Let's see, put those roots back in there. These are so much bigger than mine. Mine are not even close to this big, just to give you an idea. Started the same week as these ones, which is absolutely crazy. And even these smaller ones, really nice root growth. For Lizzianthus, they highly recommend that you do a fungal protection on the roots. They're very prone to that. So I've gotten an OMRI rated root shield. I think I did Root Shield Plus, I think was what it was called, that I ordered. So we'll be doing that along with the fertilizer soak. All right, so those are the Rosita Pinks. This next one in the boxes, just open up. Wow, these are huge. And this one, turn this around. These are the Blue Flash. Oh, those are beautiful. Definitely much bigger than mine. And these are much bigger than the pinks here. All right, so opening this one, I just noticed there's a couple that are snapped, which I'm not that happy with. Almost too big for trying to fit in that box. And there's a couple that definitely didn't make it here. So I'll have to go through these a lot lot more later, but I'll get them situated first and see how that goes. Oh, these ones are also a little taller, and these ones are the sapphire. They're really beautiful. Dark bluish purple. These ones look pretty good. I'm not seeing any real snapped here. So these are the Lizzies that I ordered, and I will show you guys a picture of the ones that I've started the same date as these. All right, so on the delphiniums, you can see the green and light apricot were canceled on the Lizzies for this order, which is again unfortunate, but happens. The delphiniums, I've got the Dasante blue and the blue mirror, 36 ordered, 36 shipped. And let's see what the instructions say, probably about the same. And yep, same instructions. So these are definitely the bigger plugs. These are perennials. So I'm gonna take these this box out just like before, so I'm not pulling the tray, and show you guys what I got. All right, so here's the blue mirror, and then here are the Dasante blues. These also looked a little big to be crammed in those boxes, but they should straighten out pretty quick and recover. But I'll definitely want to harden these off a little bit, get them to straighten up a little bit, hopefully over the next day or so, before I'm planting out. And so, yeah, these are, again, my first plugs of the season. I do have another batch of Lizzies coming in a few weeks. I'm going to try to do late. I might be crazy, but plan is to plant more into the hoop house and grow them under shade cloth. So that's my goal, to have some later season Lizzianthus. And yeah, I'm excited. So these both are perennials. These will, some of them I'll actually pot up, both of the Lizzies and these, and I will offer a few plants for sale for people to potentially, or do some trades with some local friends. I'm not really sure yet. And then these will go into the perennial garden for cut flowers this year. Okay, so I've had the Lizzies in here and the delphiniums now for just over a day, maybe, at this point, a day and a half. And they have perked back up, which is great. And now I want to show you the difference between the ones I seeded in my basement and these are all planted the same week as the plugs that I received in. So there's a couple things I know made a huge difference, but this is kind of really sad. This is why I think it's probably worth buying the plugs. Just looking at the differences of my biggest one compared to these, they probably needed a lot more light, and they probably would have been better had I moved my trays out to the hoop house much earlier. Issue is we didn't really have shelving out here. We talked about putting a shelf up here at this level in the early spring that it could be removable, but we didn't have that. And so I didn't move these out as early as I probably should have to get the actual, like, the real sun strength. So that's definitely probably one of the big issues there. I also think that the soil mix was probably not great. I used a seedling start mix, which gets pretty dense after a while because it's made to kind of germinate the seeds, and then you're supposed to transplant out. So yeah. Well, we'll see. But yeah, definitely not an expert at the Lizzies for starting from seed yet. Hopefully, I'll do well with planting these out. So the weather actually looks really good for transplanting these out, and the instructions say to plant them out within a couple days. So I'm going to get a soak bath ready for these. They recommend to put them in water and soak the tub or the soil for about 10-15 minutes before you transplant them in. Will help. And then I also have Root Shield Plus, and so this is something that I felt I wanted to try this year. This is not a cheap product by any means, and it has a 1-year date, but I did read up online and it says we can freeze it to have it last longer. You can also use it on your fall bulbs, which is definitely something of interest to me, thinking about the tulips. And maybe some other things. So I'm going to get these in a soaking thing. If you can hear that, that's a raven. So I'm going to get these soaked and plant them out today because it's supposed to start raining. It was just sprinkling a little lightly, but it's supposed to rain lightly most of the day from 10 a.m. on, and then cloudy all day tomorrow too, which makes a really good couple days to get these out in the field garden. I'm also going to plant some right in here. You can see this where these are set on. It's open space, and some in the raised bed garden as well. All right, so I used the 5-gallon bucket, filled it about halfway, and mixed in the Root Shield Plus, and then using the dog crate tray that we use for our seedlings, I'm now soaking the roots, and hopefully this is what I'm supposed to do. It is recommended to soak the roots for 15 minutes at least before transplanting into the ground, and that's from the growers, Rakers recommends, so that's what I'm doing. And then I will start getting some plantings done. I have one more tray that I'll put in after these, and once I start planting some of these, those can be soaking. Go a little closer together. So Jace finished putting the tarp and burning the holes on this last bed, and we added some fresh compost on top of it. And this one's a little wider, which is great, so that's 6 across versus the 5 on these. These first 2 beds I went back and planted in the gaps of anything that died. Every year I have stuff that dies in this stuff. That's just part of seedlings, so I do plan on that and have extra that I just go back and fill in. I got an entire half row of Lizzies planted in this row, and then I have up there on the hill, I got all my delphiniums plugs planted, and then I have some more Lizzies. I probably actually put a few more Lizzies in this row. Zinnias and amaranth, I think, will be in here. And snapdragons, and I'm sure I'm missing other things. And the rest of the stock, I'm actually going to put that in the birdie's bed that I have, the low birdie's bed, I think. That will help with space. So it's definitely made some progress. I did bring my kneeling pad out today. I didn't use it as much as I thought I would, but it did help. But look at all these lizzies. Got some more celosia planted, and some ton more straw flowers and dianthus as well. And I planted a bunch over in this garden. So here's the pack of dianthus. I've got the thistle planted. My irises are really close to being ready to be picked. I'm making a little walkway path here, and then feverfew, and I can't remember the name of that one. And then another little walkway up to some of the gumfrina. And then back there, I think that is nigella that's coming up, or poppies, not really sure, but I'll be able to get back there. And then over here, I've got the Chinese forget-me-nots and some more gumfrina, I think this is. And then another little walkway that gets me back to the bee balm and to the salvia and to the hollyhock. The tansy that I got at the perennial sale, and sedum I got the perennial sale. You'll see I put the sedum across a couple different places. That way I'll have a nice fall color. And some basil. I've got some more basil to plant up here right in this section. The Shasta daisies, I love those. And some more cornflowers. I grew up calling those scabiosa. I don't believe that's the name. I think they're in the cornflower family though. And then I'll have another walkway here going up to the yarrow and to the bee balm. And the bee balm got a little bit of hit from the hard freeze frost, but not too bad. And hollyhock, more feverfew, echinacea, I think that is. The butterfly bushes back there. And then the peonies, just have one so far. I need to get more. And then I'll have another little walkway that goes back here. So, and I've got this part. I did actually put seed down, but it's, I think they dried out. I've been watering, but not great. More thistle up here. And then around the stump, those are asters, I believe. Our asparagus patch here. And the seed didn't come up here in the front, so I'm not sure what I'll plant over here yet. It might end up being stock because I have so much everywhere. Maybe some snapdragons. And then here's the two types of perennial delphinium. I planted these pretty close together on purpose. We'll see how they do. I can always move them in the fall. So just due to space. So now the perennial and cut flower garden here is looking pretty full, which is great. Like I said, I have a couple gaps. I'll have a little walkway right here as well, so that I can get back to that back patch of delphiniums. So made good progress. I still have veggies to plant and things like that. I've got tomatillos staged over here that are going to go at the end of the row, maybe on this side. They like irrigation, so that worked out really well last year. I do have sunflowers coming up that have started, and then amazingly, I didn't cover these summer squash, and only one really died. So that's pretty impressive, or maybe two. But I do have seeds that should be up any day now in these hills, and I've got to plant more sunflowers in the second half of this row. I didn't check. We need to put the tarp down on the in between rows here as well for the weeds. But I don't think the corn is up yet. So that should be up probably any day now. We do have turkeys. You can see tracks of turkeys, the baby deer that hangs out in this area, all walking through here. At least the bear didn't walk through this part. And it looks like probably coyote as well, and rabbit. You can see the rabbit footprints here. Getting really good at my tracking. And then these onions are not looking so great, so I have more to backfill any that didn't make it. I have been watering. I've got the sprinkler here. But it took me a little while to get these in the ground. So yeah, I'm not seeing any corn yet. But Jay got it all planted, so hopefully soon, and hopefully it hasn't been picked over too bad by the animals. The garlic's going strong. So, lots to do over in the birdie's beds. We'll probably work on that tomorrow afternoon. But, pretty excited about getting this all set up.